Hello, hello. I hope you are doing well wherever you are in the world today. And thank you very much for continuing to look at my videos. So that's fun and exciting. So here's, I hate to be a nag, but I really would appreciate it if you are looking at these that you would consider subscribing. I know that you probably have a ton of other videos you're subscribing to, but it would really help me. The other thing is, I'm going to continue to put these quick videos out. I think they're real good at this sort of period of time that I'm doing, like 10 to 15 minutes at the most. If you have questions, please feel free to send those to me, and I'll be happy to cover any of the questions you might have. I'm sure here and willing and happy to do that for you. Today, I thought I would talk about a couple of things that are really easy and fundamental techniques as you're building your own psychic ability and working with it. And one of them is so simple, you won't believe it, but it's something that I've used with my groups and in actually just meditation groups, anywhere that we have met and come together. And the purpose of this exercise is about building concentration. And in this busy, crazy world in which we live today, it is really difficult to concentrate. I'm in my office. You can't see it because I have this picture of the hotel that we stayed at in Bali when I had my last tour there. Isn't it? It's pretty incredible there. Um, so, in my office, I've got this computer, I've got another computer, I've got my telephone, I've got an iPad over there, I've got people outside my window. Anyway, it's just, so noisy and distracting, these days in our world. So being able to concentrate is really very challenging, and it's becoming more and more difficult because of all of the things that are distracting us. I'll tell you a quick story. I had a tour. I was going to start running these tours in Spain, doing the Camino de Santiago, which is a 500-mile walk. We didn't do 500 miles, but we did, a couple of hundred miles on my tour. But I was at the airport. I got robbed. They took my computer, they took my telephone. Make a real long story short, I decided to really continue what I needed to do while I was in Spain, versus like turning around and going home right away. But I found myself constantly reaching for my telephone, constantly. That really made me very aware of, almost how addicted I am energetically to the devices in my life and my world. So I share that with you, that you be aware too. How many times are you checking that phone? How many times are you looking at YouTube videos? Hopefully a lot of mine. So the exercise that I give people is very simple. You just take a candle, and you light the candle and you concentrate your vision on the flame on the candle. And though this may seem to be really simple, it actually is very challenging. I can promise you're going to find it challenging to see how long you can do it. But if you take this simple technique and you start to work with it, I mean, you could do that with anything. You could do it with a spot on the wall. It's just some point where you are focusing your concentration. I can promise you, even doing it once, you'll find your ability to concentrate improving dramatically. The more you do it, the more your concentration and ability to concentrate will improve. Now, why is this important? Because one of the things that needs to happen for all of us in developing our psychic ability is to learn the difference between the energy of the material world and our physical life and world, and also then the information that's coming in energetically from a psychic standpoint. And from the other videos that I've done, I talk about this, that the energy that I feel, and I would suggest to you that most people feel energetically that are working in the psychic energy field or realm, that's two very different things. To feel, I'm hungry or what's going on in this room versus the energy that is psychic. And again, in the last video, I talked so much about the need to learn to quantify and qualify psychic energy. And the more you do that, the more you learn like medium, slow, high energy, is going to increase the accuracy of the information that you're receiving and your ability to act on it with confidence, right? So for an example, people keep coming to me and they'll say, do I feel a relationship coming in their life? Well, sometimes there's no energy there. I have to say to them, no, I don't feel that. Then there are some people that I'll feel a little bit more energy. And when they ask me about it, I'm like, well, there's a little bit more, but I don't feel like it's complete to bring for me to say to you, no, there's somebody coming into your life. The energy isn't complete and strong. So there's an example of layers of quantifying and qualifying energy. And again, if this is confusing to you, send me an email. I'll be happy to talk about it again, but that's the name of the game. You've got to learn to quantify and qualify what feels or the intensity of the energy that's coming to you that you're feeling. So that's the quantity and quality. Now, if you're doing your concentration exercise, you will be able to concentrate to feel those differences and the gradations in the qualities of psychic information that's coming to you. So good and important to do. Now, the next thing that I want to share with you, again, because we're keeping these videos short, right, is something that I did years and years and years ago. And I don't know that you're going to want to do this, but for 1 year, I let no one in my house. Why did I do this? Well, first, I didn't have to clean. I always tell this story, and then I tell everybody, there's these big rolling balls of dirt in the house because I didn't have to clean. No one was coming. But the truth of it is that every time somebody comes into your home, they leave energy. Just that simple. And so for me, I wanted to move my psychic. I was consciously aware I wanted to move my psychic ability to a higher level. And I felt one of the best ways to do that was to keep my home space as clean and clear as I possibly could. So there's an idea, that's a little bit far out that you may be saying, I'd love to do that. I can't. I hardly have my own space. But one of the things that I did was I had a friend who lived in another city. And so at 7 o'clock on Sunday night each week, every Sunday, she would send me pictures psychically. I remember the first time, and again, this is an issue of good concentration. I remember the first thing that she did for me was the sequence of what she sent was, first she sent me her psychic impression of a candle, and then the candle was lit, and then she sent me the impression of a book, and then the book was open. So these are really kind of neat things, again, not only about being able to work with how well you're concentrating, but there are some people that are more powerful in sending images, and there are those of us who are better in receiving energy. And then, maybe somewhere along the line, we become capable and able on both. People always ask me, do I think that when I'm walking around and I think about somebody, do I think that person is thinking about me? That's a question I've gotten forever. And I always say, yeah, I do. And especially for me, I jokingly, there are clients that like for 2 weeks, they'll be making a decision to call and make an appointment with me. And I'm like, oh God, I wish they would call. I want them to get out of my head so that, and I joking with them go, do me a favor, when don't think about me until you're ready to make an appointment, because then I'm walking around wondering what's going on with you and thinking about you. And of course, I never breach any boundaries. I would never, reach out to that person and say, hey, I'm picking you up today. How are you doing or what? I do that with friends. I'll do that with people that are in my personal world and, who I do love. I might not say to them, hey, I'm, picking you up today. I might just say, I'm reaching out to say hello to you, how are you doing kind of thing. All right. So there's some things to think about today. Again, I'm going to ask you to please, if you feel like you want to, subscribe to this channel. Like I said, I'm going to keep doing these little blurbs. I'm hoping that you have questions and you're going to start sending those out to me. Again, if you go to, my website, which is steve@steventhompson.net, You can contact me through that, or you can send an email to me. You can send a text message to me, whatever you want to do. So again, as I always say, I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are, and that these videos are helping and supporting you and your life and your world and understanding who you are better. Have a great day.